Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And this is Mohammed Aljaber. And in this video, we're going to go over exercise 6-4A, one of the selected exercises from chapter 6 in our Managerial Accounting course. Now, this exercise says costs can be classified into one of four categories: unit level, batch level, product level, or facility level costs. Now remember, in our classification of production activities, when we distribute our costs, overheads especially, into groups, considering their activity level, we do have four levels of activity that we have covered. Unit activity or unit level activities, those are the kinds of costs that occur each time a unit of product is made. So you can probably eliminate these costs by eliminating one unit of your product. Okay, and then we have batch level. These are costs that typically occur whenever the production or the manufacturer produces a group of products, or a certain batch, right? So they relate to producing a group of products. And then we have product level activities. Those are costs that occur in relation to specific products or product lines. So you could probably avoid these costs if you eliminate one of your product lines, right? And at the end, we have facility level, and these are the costs that benefit the production process as a whole. And they don't really relate to any specific product or batch or units, but they still are necessary to keep the production process going. Okay, so we want to take a look at these costs right here, and we want to classify each one of them just like they're doing for us right here in the first example. So we have a salary of company president, and this is, of course, is classified as a facility level cost, because whenever we have a company president, his salary as a cost does not really relate to only one product or two products. It doesn't really relate to a specific unit. It is necessary to keep the business going, right? So he's receiving his pay and he oversees the whole production process, right? So we cannot really classify his president as anything other than a facility level cost, right? His salary would be classified as a facility level cost. So let's continue on and do the rest. The second one is research and development costs. Now, research and development is typically incurred to create or design a specific product, right? So for this one, it makes sense to classify it as a product level cost, right? Because you would do this, maybe incur this once or multiple times over the life cycle of a product. Let's say you produce cups, for example. You research the cup design, you design it, and then maybe do some improvements later on. But you're not going to incur this cost every time you produce a new cup, right? You're just going to incur it at the beginning to design that cup, and then maybe a few times later if you want to do some design changes or improve that product. So for this one, research and development cost, we're going to classify it as a product level. Third one, factory lawn care costs. So here, these are expenses or costs that are linked to the care of the lawn of the factory, right? Can we tie this cost to anything other than facility? Probably not, because it doesn't really relate to a certain product, doesn't relate to a certain batch, definitely does not really relate to a single unit of production. So this one is a facility level. Number 4, cost of patents. A patent is kind of um, a copyright or a certificate that proves that our company owns the right to a certain design or to a certain product or something like that. So this, of course, is going to be classified as a product level cost, right? So a patent would be product level. Next one, startup cost to change color of a product. So when you have a manufacturing equipment, that manufacturing equipment typically can produce different variations of a product, right? If you remember the markers example I gave you in class, for example, if you produce whiteboard markers, you produce those markers in multiple colors. Let's say black, blue, red, and green, right? So every time you want to produce a group or a batch of the same color, you might need to set up that equipment or that machinery and have it ready to produce that certain variation of your product. Let's say we're going to produce the red markers, right? So here, this is similar. Startup cost to change the color of the product, that would definitely be a batch level cost, right? A batch level cost. Next one, cost of resetting sewing machines to change shirt size. This is also similar to the previous one, right? So here we have a sewing machine, okay, ماكينة خياطة, and then you are changing its setting or resetting that machine to change the size of the shirts that you are producing. So that is linked, or that relates to a batch of products that you're going to produce. Let's say X large shirts, right? So you'll change those settings and then you will produce, let's say 100, 200 shirts of that size, X large for example. And then you will reset the sewing machine again to do the following batch, which might be of a different size, okay? So the cost of resetting the sewing machine is also going to be a batch level cost. Next one, real estate tax for the factory. Tax at this level for the whole factory, of course, is going to be a facility level cost. We're just going to write facility level. Finally, direct labor. Direct labor, if you guys remember from our classifications of manufacturing costs, we broke it down into direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overheads. So direct labor is the cost of labor that is associated by definition with producing 1 unit of product, right? That's why typically when we exhibit direct labor costs, we would say something like $2 per unit. In our example here, the cups factory, for example, it would say $2 per cup, right? So clearly, by definition, this is a unit level costs. Unit level costs. And that's it. That's all that is required in this question. So we went over the different costs and we classified each one of them. Hope the solution or the question rundown was clear for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.